Zelete, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, herself decided to confess that they depend on Africa for everything. They depend on our resources for survival. Without the African, they are nothing. But you see, after they come into the continent, carry the resources away, they change the narrative, make it look as if it is rather the African that is depending on them. We are at their mercy. Without them, we can never survive. So what do? They come into the continent with their peanut aids every blessed day. You hear they're giving us scholarships. They want to increase our energy. Like when there was this G7 in South Africa, they were talking about the EU Commission president was saying they need to invest in energy. Energy so that at the end of the day when the African child closes from school and the sun sets, the child gets light to do their homeworks. Because in Africa, majority of these villages do not have light. And who is making sure the children do not have energy to do their homework? The same people that are offering us peanuts. Like the Algerian president said, the people who are sponsoring the TT in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are the same ones that are coming back pretending they want to give us solution. The same ones that are taking our future, making sure we do not get anything for ourselves, are the same people who will then preach how dependent we are on them, how we are migrating, leaving Africa, making migration issues in their countries very difficult, tightening their borders, making sure the African never gets to the same Europe that is taking our resources away. The same people will make sure you, the African, never gets there. But whatever that they have right there, it is from you. It is our future. It's just like Niger. We have the Nigerians living in total darkness. We have Macron coming to tell us that he's not the one to give us energy. It is the responsibility of our leaders. When they finish doing everything, they push everything on the leaders. Make it look like it is the leaders that failed us. Yes, they are right. Because if our leaders should stand up to say no, like what we are seeing in Mali, in Niger, and Burkina Faso, nobody will come into the continent and carry the resources.
Supply concerning the role of Africa. For example, because Europe depends for the most part of its historical raw materials, rare earths, depends from countries that process those electronic raw materials, and that often buy those raw materials produced in Africa. Africa are ours, direct neighbors, and would like to cooperate with us more. Healthy cooperation on a par. Not like we have said so many times, and not predatory. And yet Europe must defend NATO, must defend. The West must defend. And so yes, we ask for more attention to the side.
You heard that right? The Italian Prime Minister Meloni has come out to acknowledge that Europe, for the most part, for a larger part, depends on Africa's natural resources for survival. They'll rob us of the resources. They'll have people in power who will not use those resources for us, but will rob, like, they steal our resources. And then when Africans leave Africa to try to go to Europe so they can have a better life, because our resources that we need for our lives have been stolen by Europeans, they'll be out here. African leadership. Oh my God. Like they're literally out here shooting at boats, capsizing people, killing us for trying to find a better life because of the resources that belong to us that they've stolen. They depend on us to survive. They take our things, and then when we try to go there to live on our resources, look at half of Europe was built with African resources. The whole of Belgium as a nation, all of Belgium was built with Congolese resources. The whole fucking nation of Belgium was built off of Congolese resources. But look at Congo. And then the Belgians, look at Belgium's highest goal scorer. He's going to play soon. Romelu. All the black people in Belgium are Congolese. Almost all of them except one. Now who's Senegalese. The rest of them are all Congolese.
This has been what we have been facing for all these years, for generations, for decades. The African is made to believe we have nothing here. We go through the pain. We are running out of our continent because we are told there's nothing here. There's no future. So we grow up thinking the future is over there. And when we finally get there, how do life become for us? How do we live there? We see that back home is everything, except the few people, no matter how much you try to change them, as long as they are with the oppressor, they are happy. They can never survive without the African. Our resources are what they depend on. We make them who they are. That is why we are calling for the unification of Africans. All these systems that they have kept in place is to make sure you, the African, never unites. Because when you do, like we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they fall. And in order not to fall, they have to create a narrative to continue to take your resources out of the continent all the time. But what do we see here in Africa? The youth are not ready. We are busy with unnecessary things, discussing football, looking at Brazilian hair, iPhone this. The African is not thinking about what can I also do to change the narrative. We are busy with things that are not helpful. That wouldn't change anything for us. We need to know that people that we see to be our saviors are the ones that depend on us. Now they are not hiding it like before they used to do. They themselves are confessing it. But they know no matter what they say, the African will still be somewhere, not seeing anything wrong with what is happening. And we find means and ways to justify whatever that is happening. Our leaders might be the problem. They created a system. But you and I have a responsibility to change that system. And we can only change it in unity. That was why the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso joined hands together, because together they are strong. If they should have separated themselves, they would have all fallen by now. It's because they decided that no, in unity we are strong. They decided that if you touch Niger, you have touched all of us. And that is why AES is growing and keeps growing and becoming more powerful. We don't need to move out of the continent. All we need is unity. All we need is to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, believing people must come here and set us free. How can somebody who do not have it give you? How can you, the one who owns everything, give your cow to someone and go and beg for a glass of milk? The time has come for us to wake up. This is information age, information era. They are telling us what they are doing. Like one professor said, they will never allow Africa to rise up. It is not possible because they need the cheap resources for their factories, their industries. If Africa should rise up and take control over all these things, they will fall, and they are not ready to do that. And that they will never allow it without going in for a fight. But what do we see? What do we see the African do? Nothing. The African is thinking of how I will get this, move out. And when we even leave the continent, we don't even think of coming back unless we see that life is no longer helpful. That is the only time we think about home. When we are old, that is when we think about home. We find 1,001 reasons why we do not want to be here. The things we will not even do to support our continent, when we get there, we do them. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. There's no better place than Africa. And there is no one that gives to you. You rather give to the world. And we must understand the power of the African and wake up. Stop struggling and doing everything possible to get there. And let's unite. Our unity is our breakthrough. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in Italy.